The global trade landscape was shaken today, sending shockwaves through markets and boardrooms around the world. International ports buzzed with activity, but beneath the surface, uncertainty loomed larger than ever before. President Trump took to the podium to announce a dramatic escalation in his ongoing trade conflict with China, a move that caught many by surprise and immediately dominated headlines across the globe. The administration is now raising baseline tariffs on all imported goods, not just select categories. This signals a much tougher, more aggressive stance, and marks a significant shift in U.S. trade policy. Customs officers are bracing for new procedures, and importers are scrambling to assess the impact on their supply chains. In swift response, China immediately retaliated with a staggering 125% tariff on a wide range of American products, from agricultural goods to high-tech equipment. This move reignites a trade war that many hoped was cooling, and raises the stakes for both nations. The Trump administration argues that these tariffs are necessary to address long-standing issues, such as intellectual property theft, forced technology transfers, and what they see as unfair government subsidies that give Chinese companies an edge. This aggressive approach is a core part of the president's America First agenda, an effort to rewrite global trade rules and bring manufacturing jobs back to the U.S. Supporters say it's about protecting American workers and industries, while critics warn of higher prices and global instability. By raising tariffs and singling out China, the administration is drawing a clear line in the sand, signaling to allies and rivals alike that the U.S. is willing to endure short-term pain for what it sees as long-term gain. The world is watching closely to see if this bold strategy will finally break the deadlock between the world's two largest economies, or if it will only deepen divisions and prolong the standoff. Behind closed doors, negotiators are working overtime, but the risk of a deeper economic conflict is real. Stock markets have already reacted with volatility, and some factories are bracing for slowdowns or even closures if the dispute drags on. Businesses caught in the middle of planning for the crucial holiday season now face new uncertainty. Retailers worry about rising costs, while manufacturers scramble to find alternative suppliers and adjust their strategies. The stakes are higher than ever, and the path forward is more uncertain. As leaders on both sides weigh their next moves, the world waits to see whether this new front in the trade war will lead to resolution, or to even greater turmoil in the global economy. So, what are tariffs? Simply put, a tariff is a tax on imported goods. For example, if a car is made in China and shipped to the US, a tariff makes it more expensive for American buyers. The goal is to make foreign products less competitive, encouraging consumers to buy American-made goods. While tariffs can protect domestic industries, they often lead to higher prices for everyone. Importers pay the tax, but usually pass the cost on to consumers. This is how a trade war starts. One country imposes tariffs, the other retaliates. The US taxes Chinese goods, China taxes American goods, and the cycle escalates. The result? Disrupted global trade and higher prices for everyday items. In the end, everyone pays more. President Trump's trade strategy is built on aggressive tariffs, marking a dramatic shift from previous administrations. Instead of relying on traditional diplomacy or multilateral agreements, Trump has chosen to use tariffs as his primary tool for negotiating better deals for the United States. This approach is rooted in his America First philosophy, which prioritizes domestic industries and American workers above all else. The U.S. has raised its standard tariff rate from 10% to 15% for all countries, with the threat of going as high as 50% for uncooperative nations. These higher tariffs are not just numbers, they represent a clear warning to trading partners. Cooperate with American interests, or face steep economic consequences. This tiered system is designed to reward allies and punish adversaries, creating leverage for new trade deals. By offering lower tariffs to friendly nations and imposing harsher penalties on rivals, the administration hopes to reshape the global trade landscape in America's favor. Deals with countries like Japan and Indonesia offer stability in exchange for concessions, while China faces the harshest penalties. The administration is sending a message: those willing to negotiate fairly will benefit, while those seen as unfair competitors will be penalized. The approach is comprehensive, affecting everything from steel and aluminum to consumer electronics, automobiles, and even agricultural products. No sector is left untouched as the administration seeks to protect American jobs and industries across the board. Nearly every major trading partner is forced to reconsider its relationship with the U.S. Some are scrambling to secure exemptions, while others are retaliating with tariffs of their own, leading to a complex web of negotiations and disputes. The ultimate goal: rebalance global trade and put American interests first. By encouraging companies to manufacture more goods domestically, the administration hopes to boost the economy and reduce reliance on foreign imports. This assertive policy is reshaping the global trading system, forcing countries to adapt to a new set of rules and expectations. The ripple effects are being felt in boardrooms and government offices around the world. Allies are negotiating, adversaries are resisting, and the world is adjusting to a new reality. The uncertainty has sparked debates about the future of globalization and the balance of power in international commerce. The stakes have never been higher for international commerce. As the world watches, the outcome of this bold experiment could redefine how nations trade for years to come. China responded swiftly to Trump's tariff hike, imposing a massive 125% tariff on American goods. This is a direct retaliation, targeting key U.S. exports like soybeans, pork, and cars. The move is designed to inflict pain on politically sensitive American industries and pressure the administration to back down. For China, this is about defending national pride and economic sovereignty. The 125% tariff signals that China will not accept what it sees as unfair terms. The U.S.-China relationship is now at its lowest point in decades. Both sides are locked in a direct confrontation with little room for compromise. The global economy hangs in the balance as the conflict deepens. The world braces for a long and costly standoff. The trade war's impact is hitting American wallets. Higher tariffs mean higher costs for companies, which are passed on to consumers. The auto industry is a prime example. U.S. cars use many Chinese parts, and tariffs disrupt the entire supply chain. Companies like General Motors and Keurig Dr. Pepper are already feeling the squeeze. Businesses must choose between absorbing costs or raising prices. Most will raise prices. Retailers face chaos as they plan for the holiday season, unsure how to price goods. The ripple effect touches everything from electronics to groceries. While some industries benefit, most Americans will pay more as the trade war drags on. Consumers are now on the front lines of this economic conflict. The Trump administration uses tariffs as a powerful negotiating tool. The threat of tariffs brings countries to the table, and deals are struck under pressure. Agreements with Japan, Vietnam, and the Philippines were reached with tariffs looming. Trading partners often lower their own barriers in exchange for relief from U.S. duties. National security is also used to justify new tariffs, targeting critical imports like semiconductors and minerals. This gives the White House even more leverage in future talks. The administration suspends tariffs for most countries but hammers China, sending a clear message: negotiate or face consequences. Tariffs have become central to U.S. diplomacy, reshaping global trade relationships. This high-stakes approach ensures tariffs will remain a disruptive force for years to come. President Trump's tariff authority comes from the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, allowing swift action during national emergencies. This has sparked fierce debate about presidential power, with lawsuits challenging the administration's authority. Courts have mostly deferred to the executive branch, letting tariffs stand for now. In Congress, lawmakers from both parties worry about the economic fallout and seek to limit the president's power. Proposed legislation aims to reassert congressional control, but consensus is elusive. The legal and political uncertainty adds complexity to the trade war. For now, the president acts decisively, but the battle over tariffs continues in courtrooms and Congress. The constant tariff changes have plunged the global economy into uncertainty. Businesses can't plan or invest confidently when tariffs can change overnight. Retailers struggle to price goods, unsure what costs will be when shipments arrive. This leads to higher prices or sudden spikes, especially during the holiday season. The administration is targeting entire supply chains, pressuring companies to move production out of China. In the short term, this means massive disruptions and higher costs for industries and consumers. Uncertainty is slowing economic growth as companies and families hold back on spending. With no clear resolution in sight, businesses and consumers are left in limbo. The global economy remains on edge, waiting for stability. The world stands at a crossroads, facing a moment of uncertainty that will shape the global economy for years to come. Every decision made now will ripple across continents, affecting not just governments and corporations, but the daily lives of billions of people. If tensions between the US and China continue to escalate, we could see even more tariffs imposed, further disrupting already fragile supply chains. This would likely lead to higher prices for everyday goods, from electronics to groceries, and could make it harder for businesses to operate smoothly. Such a scenario could slow global economic growth, increase uncertainty, and push countries toward a more fragmented, protectionist world. International travel and trade could become more difficult, and the sense of global cooperation may give way to competition and isolation. On the other hand, mounting economic pressure might force both sides to reconsider and return to the negotiating table. Diplomacy and compromise could pave the way for a new agreement, easing tensions and opening doors for renewed collaboration. A breakthrough deal could restore stability to markets, lower prices for consumers, and boost confidence among investors and businesses worldwide. Trade could flow more freely, and optimism could return to the global economy. For ordinary people, the outcome will be felt in daily life, whether it's paying more at the checkout, worrying about job security, or, in the case of a deal, discovering new opportunities for growth and prosperity. Small businesses, families, and workers everywhere will feel the impact. The financial well-being of millions truly hangs in the balance. The choices made now could mean the difference between hardship and hope for countless households and communities. Ultimately, the actions of leaders in Washington and Beijing will determine the path forward. Their willingness to engage, compromise, or confront will set the tone for the world's economic future. While the hope is for diplomacy and peaceful resolution, the risk of a deeper, more damaging conflict remains very real. The stakes could not be higher. As the world watches and waits, there is a collective hope for resolution, but also a growing sense of anxiety, bracing for what could become a prolonged and challenging fight. The next chapter is unwritten, and its outcome will touch us all.